Afternoon, and thanks so much for streaming with us today on what is a very busy news day as we head into the long Labor Day weekend. Want to bring you right out to the CDC, where just in the past hour, dozens and dozens of people have gathered there to protest the firing of Susan Menarez, the director of the CDC, this only weeks after her official appointment to lead that agency. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is out there among the group of protesters, which includes an unprecedented wave, Tyler, of very high-profile resignations from several departments at the CDC.
Yeah, hey Tom, good afternoon to you. And I'm going to actually tell you hundreds of people are out here, and it includes not just current staffers, but former staffers, fired staffers, and also people who are public health advocates. And this comes after the stunning shift in leadership came as a shock to CDC staffers yesterday and actually prompted some resignations of some high-level staffers here at the CDC. So all of this was, you can hear the clapping and the screaming right now. What this was to be able to clap out the three senior CDC leaders who resigned after the CDC director, Susan Menarez, was fired. And this was initially actually supposed to happen inside the headquarters here at CDC on Clifton Road. But those leaders, after resigning, were escorted out by CDC security, and that was not able to happen. So they were able to hastily come back out here and do this today at 3 o'clock. We were told it was going to happen just about 3 minutes ago, but just a few minutes ago, we were told that it's been delayed a few minutes as they're going to be making their way down here to be able to clap them out. We are expecting to hear from at least one or two of those senior CDC leaders who resigned. And again, the White House is defending the decision to get rid of the CDC director, Susan Menarez. And she was initially only just put into place just about a month ago, less than a month ago. She was approved by the Senate on July 31st. And now, obviously, she was removed by the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy, and then by President Donald Trump. You can see on both sides of the road, there are people lined up here to show their support for this. This obviously, for people here, frustrating. According to Susan Menarez's attorneys, she was basically being fired because she was not willing to rubber stamp policies and different policies that the White House and that the Health and Human Services Secretary wanted to put into place. And again, this the quote was, they refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. She chose to protect the public over serving a political agenda. For that, she has been targeted. That's what her attorneys wrote in a statement on X yesterday. And her departure coincided with the resignations of at least 3 top CDC officials. And we're expecting to see at least two of them here today, and we're told that they will be giving a brief statement. And as you pan around, you can see again hundreds of people out here. This, from what we were told, a hastily planned event because this was supposed to happen inside the CDC today, a clap out, but then security escorted them out before that could happen. And so, Tom, this is obviously something we're going to have. We're going to bring it to you, obviously, on air, both here on Fox Local and on Fox 5 Atlanta. And so, again, hundreds of people out here, and any minute now we're going to hear from some of those people who resigned, the high-level CDC officials who felt the need to not continue their work here because of the situation of losing their director, Susan Menarez.
And Menarez, Tyler, as far as we know, refuses to step down and dismiss her leadership team. Do we know if that's still the situation out there as those hundreds of folks gather in protest of what's been happening over the past couple of days?
Yeah, and from our understanding, she has been fired by President Donald Trump, and that was something that Menarez's attorneys had said they had not officially gotten that word. It had only been told that by Health and Human Services Secretary RFK that essentially that she was being asked to resign. She was refusing to resign, but from our understanding, she has been officially fired. And the White House defending the decision, essentially saying that she was not following President Donald Trump's agenda. I spoke to a number of people today, including the union, who represents about 2,000 employees here at the CDC here in Atlanta. And what she was telling me was that this is a situation that should never have happened, and that essentially we should be following the science. And she was saying that this was not happening. They were not following the science. Obviously, the view from the White House is that she was not following what she was being asked to do, and essentially She was terminated less than a month into her tenure here at the CDC.
Well, the administration and the Health and Human Services Secretary obviously have their prerogative, and whether or not the CDC director was cooperating in their agenda. That's what presidential administrations are for, after all. But Tyler, talk to the tumultuousness at the CDC, if you will, because I know you've been covering it for quite some time. Not only before the horrific shooting that happened there just a few weeks ago, but even in the weeks leading up to that, you had layoffs at the CDC. So you had the layoffs, the horrible shooting, and now the firing of the CDC director. This is such a critical agency to the health and well-being of the United States.
Yeah, obviously this is the top public health agency in our country. They do a work to make sure that that public is able to stay safe. They did a lot during COVID, being able to help obviously approve the vaccine and work with the vaccines and do all the different work for that to be able to keep the American public safe. According to Robert F. Kennedy, Secretary of Health and Human Services, he had said on Fox and Friends this morning that essentially once again throwing out that the CDC had a lot of issues and they're trying to fix those issues, talking about problems with their ideas for mask mandates and the vaccines and the different protocols that they put into place because of COVID. And so they're saying, at least the administration is saying, and the Health and Human Services Secretary is saying, that there's a lot of problems here at the CDC that they're trying to rectify. Obviously, all of these hundreds of people here, the current staffers, fired staffers, and also retired staffers here, saying that the CDC is just doing the work, they're following the science, and they are really trying to keep the American public safe. Lots of signs here. You're looking at one right now. You are heroes, with a heart around the CDC logo. Another one, thank you, CDC, we stand with you. And again, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to hear from a couple of the people who, high-level officials who resigned yesterday following the termination of Susan Menarez. And you had talked about the shooting that happened here just a few weeks ago.
Right.
I mean, obviously that's on everyone's mind. I mean, you can actually still see some of the bullet holes on the windows here. And now, once again, for some of these people out here, that's what we were hearing today. They were under attack just a few weeks ago when that gunman opened fire on the campus, and now they're under attack once again. And they say they just keep getting under attack since January. They had the number of layoffs earlier this year. I covered that in April, where we lost a lot of staff here at the CDC in Atlanta. And really, folks are just really hoping, including the union, that the CDC is able to just continue to follow the science and continue to just be able to have the ability to do what they need to do, which is protect the American public.
Yeah.
But again, according to the administration, the White House, and the Health and Human Services Secretary, they're saying that the CDC is being weaponized and that they're not actually following the science, and that's what they're trying to rectify. But again, the folks out here don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's a topic that's certainly up for debate. You know, obviously a tumultuous time there at the agency, and a misalignment between the folks that work there and lead the CDC and this administration. Real quick, Tyler, before I let you go, do we expect to see Menarez out there at any point? Is she going to come out and speak to supporters?
So at this point, we do not expect for her to be out here. This is really a clap out for those three senior CDC staffers who have been here for some time. This, again, was supposed to happen inside the CDC headquarters today, but because of them being escorted out early, they were not able to do that. So according to the people who helped plan this, this was hastily done so that they could be able to clap them out, because all of these people here, at least the ones we spoke to, they are saying that they did the important work of resigning instead of trying to just let whatever was happening inside the CDC, in their view, a bad change inside the CDC. They resigned to be able to show that they, according to them, their integrity, to be able to, just be able to, what's the word there? Show that they are willing to lose their jobs over the fact that they just don't believe in what is going on inside our nation's top public health agency.
Maybe take one for the team is the phrase that you were looking for. Obviously, a leadership crisis there at the CDC, Tyler, and a demonstration, as you say, of hundreds of people there in light of all that. And I know you're going to stay on top of it out there, and we, of course, will check back in with you. Tyler Finger, live.
I think... Yeah. Well, I'm getting told, just so you know right now, it looks like at least a couple of those CDC staffers who resigned yesterday are now walking down. So we actually will be hearing from them any moment, is from what we were just told. And that's what the clapping is.
Trying to see that through the folks standing there.
I don't know if you guys are able to take the other camera that we have out here. We have two different crews because we wanted to give you guys the best angle here on Fox Local. My photographer, who I'm currently with, is trying to get that view. We're going to see if we can walk up a little bit further up this sidewalk. We're going to see if we can walk up this sidewalk. If you guys follow me over here real quick. Police around here, obviously, to make sure everything stays, the public safety stays okay. But you can hear the clapping probably from a lot of the folks. Again, hundreds of people are out here. We're going to walk one little bit further.
Yeah, and what about Clifton Road, Tyler? What's happening? Is traffic still getting by on Clifton? I mean, that's like a really trafficked corridor there.
So you can see this is some of those staffers right here who resigned yesterday amid what's happening at the CDC. I'm going to let you listen in. You can hear people chanting CDC and the claps.
See if you can grab a question with one of them.
Well, they are walking down right now, and they're going to be speaking in just a couple of minutes. The people who are leading this this clap out have asked us to keep our camera down there with them. That's where they're going to do the official statement, a brief statement to the media. But as you can see, they are walking down here. The cheer is very loud, and to be honest, the number of people out here continues to grow, hundreds, and I would not even be shocked if I can say there's at least 1,000 possibly out here. A lot of people out here to show their support and protest what has happened.
And just to recap real quick, Tyler, for us, this is part of Manara's leadership team who resigned in protest for the firing by the administration of the CDC director, who are coming out to say their goodbyes to fellow staffers there. What was supposed to be a clap out, as you said, inside the agency got so big that it had to move outside. And so we're expecting to hear from these officials as they make their way down the sidewalk. Ironically enough, this just feet away from where that terrible shooting took place about 3 weeks ago on the steps of that CVS drugstore. So this all coming together now in a crescendo, if you will, after the CDC director is fired. This is her leadership team, scientists who work there, administrators, converging out on the sidewalk there to a round of thunderous applause. Television cameras fixated on their walk and some hugs being given by fellow staffers. We're expecting to hear from these folks at any moment now, and what they have to say about the happenings inside the CDC agency, what this means for the future leadership of the CDC, and who might step in for Susan Manara to try to right the ship here, if you will. They're in the middle of not only a leadership crisis, but a human resources crisis because of the so many disenfranchised workers inside the agency. So a lot of work needs to be done. You hope that level heads will prevail here in the coming days.
What does this mean to you to see everyone here?
It means the most. This is what makes CDC, and that's what our HHS doesn't understand. It's the brilliant scientists, the good hearts, and the people that make America safe lining up right here.
Did you expect this?
I did not expect it.
You just heard him say he did not expect this, and just the sheer amount of people. And to be honest, when we got notified that this was happening today, we got notified about 1:30, 1 o'clock that this was going to happen, and I was expecting maybe a couple hundred people here, maybe 200-300, because the last time we covered a protest here at the CDC, that's what we saw. This is way more than that. During the layoffs, we saw, again, about 100 or 200. Today, though, we are seeing hundreds, probably easily over 500, maybe up to 1,000 people here, and it just continues to grow. And the sheer number of people, the cheering, the screaming in support of these three top CDC officials who chose to resign instead of just continuing with what they feel is just a attack on the public health system of the CDC.
Yeah, a little difficult to hear you, Tyler, but just such interesting perspective from you. I gather that we don't particularly know who that individual was, that member of Menarez's leadership team who just spoke to you. Do you know who that was?
Tom, I'm pretty sure that was Dr. Dimitri I'm going to butcher the last name here, Daskalakis. He was the head of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases. The other two CDC officials who resigned were Deborah Oury, the agency's deputy director, and Dr. Daniel Jernigan, the head of the agency's National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases. And it looks like all three of them are out here. But again, as you heard, they did not expect this. They truly expected to walk out of there with their heads held high from their choice to resign, but they did not expect just so many people to feel the willingness to come out here to show their support.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about the disconnect between some of the leadership there at the CDC and the agenda of the Trump administration. All of this sort of began with the request of the resignation of the CDC director, Susan Menarez, after the administration, the Health and Human Services Department, implemented stricter COVID-19 vaccine guidelines earlier this year under Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The CDC dropped that recommendation that healthy children, healthy pregnant women receive routine COVID-19 vaccinations. And so there was just a disagreement, if you will, between what people inside the CDC and this administration were advocating for. And as you see, that sort of came to loggerheads just in the past 48 to 72 hours, which began with the dismissal of Susan Menarez, the head of that agency, and now...
Tom, just...
Yeah, go ahead.
Tom, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to make sure you guys have our other camera. They just handed flowers, I believe all three of them. All three of them were just handed flowers. If you have our other camera, let's listen in what they're saying. My mic is currently really far, but we do have one other mic a little closer.
We love you all. We'll do what it takes now to be on the other side to support public health. There's so much going on right now when you look at the devastation that's happening to our staff, our campus, the programs. We won't forget you. We're just now going to really advocate for the great work you all do. We love you all. I'm already missing you guys, but I just can't tell you what CDC means to all of us, the mission, the work, your commitment. Thank you, and we're so honored to have done this for you.
Can you talk about
Hi, everybody. So, I guess it's hard to not say, we didn't really expect this. But thank you so much for being here. You know, what makes CDC great are the people that make CDC up, the scientists, everyone that makes this a family. And it's a family that defends our country and the health of our children and the health of adults. Whether it's because of vaccines, whether it's preventing overdose, chronic disease, stopping Ebola at its source rather than let it come to this continent. You are the people that protect America. And America needs to see that you are the people that protect America. And we are going to be your loudest advocates. One last thing. As we stand out here, I need to make sure that we remember Officer Rose. And what I said to my team in the last email that I sent was what they said at the end of every eulogy at his funeral. We have to go, but now you all got this. The watch is yours, and you must take care of yourselves. It is your duty to the country to take care of you. Be well. Thank you.
This is what makes CDC great. This is really the
All right,
CDC
some of the
design
leadership
about
who have resigned today in protest over the firing of Susan Menarez, the director of the CDC, speaking out there outside the agency. What was supposed to be a send-off of sorts inside that building has now spilled out onto Clifton Road there, and the sidewalk that lines the agency with what has become an impromptu gathering of hundreds of people and supporters and well-wishers for these folks, and really a demonstration, a real-life demonstration of the misalignment between what some of the people inside the CDC believe and what some of the new administrators inside the Health and Human Services believe about the vaccinations in our country and how those vaccinations not only are to be distributed, but to whom and when. Obviously, Susan Monarez and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the head of the Health and Human Services Administration, did not see eye to eye. She was just appointed a few weeks ago. So this is really a spectacular fall from her leadership role there and her firing. But this all comes as a boiling point of what had been a weeks, if not months long, quiet discontent, if you will, inside the Centers for Disease Control among the rank and file about the direction of the agency and the difficulty in moving in that new direction. So we obviously have this huge demonstration outside. We're covering both sides of this issue because there are two sides. A new presidential administration means new guidance and new guidelines, and the leaders of these agencies falling in line with what the elected officials deem appropriate at the current time. So a lot of nuance here. Its story will continue to follow for you here on Fox Local and, of course, on all of our streaming platforms and on fox5atlanta.com. All right, there is a lot to get to. We'll continue to cover the demonstration out there outside the CDC. We are seeing a huge increase in a reward being offered for the solving of a cold case, if you will. It's almost 10 years in the making. It's a triple homicide that happened, and there is new urgency to solve it. Authorities want answers, and they're willing to pony up to get those answers. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes covering this story, all new today at 3 p.m. Deidre?
That's right, Tom. And an emotional morning for the victims' families. They met with reporters today, along with the lead investigator in this case with the DeKalb County DA's office. They have upped the reward. Crime Stoppers now offering a $15,000 reward in this case for information leading to an arrest. We are coming up on the 8-year anniversary of this triple murder that occurred in Stonecrest. Now, siblings Starlene and Stanford Henderson and their friend Eric Robinson were found murdered in an apartment on the 5800 block of Par 4 Court in Stonecrest on August 30th of 2017. And Robinson and Stanford Henderson lived at the apartment complex. Starlene was visiting her brother who was celebrating his birthday. The victims' families and investigators believe that someone out there knows what happened, knows who shot and killed these three individuals, and they're asking for the public's help today.
There's people that know what happened, and it's on their heart to say something. It's on their heart. I know at least a couple of them, 2 or 3 people want to say something. And I just want to ask them to please call into Crime Stoppers or whatever anonymously and tell what you know.
Now again, this murder happened on August 30th of 2017 at an apartment complex in Stonecrest late in the evening on that date. 3 people killed, 2 siblings and a friend of theirs. We're told that both of the families, the victims' families, are quite close, that they all grew up together, and so this has had a far-reaching impact on a DeKalb County community. Investigators asking that anyone with information call Crime Stoppers. Tom?
Yeah, and it's good to see DeKalb County officials increasing that reward, so not only the community but the family of those 3 homicide victims get some answers. Deidre, thanks. A lot still to talk about today, including comments from the FBI director about what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, that horrific shooting which left 2 children dead. You're going to hear what he has to say in a moment, as well as comments from the White House about the president's reaction to the horrifying events in Minneapolis.
Hey.
Okay, give me like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome back, and thank you so much for streaming with us here on Fox Local, the 3 p.m. hour. I'm Tom Haines, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. So glad you're streaming with us here on Fox Local, whether you're on your device, at home watching us on TV, or on YouTube. And of course, our radio listeners on 107.9 HD2 FM, welcome to you as well. You know, we have an amazing story out of Barrow County to tell you about today. 2 E911 employees put their training to work to help 2 local mothers at 2 separate times, by the way, deliver their babies over the phone. One was in June, the other in July, and now we're about to hear all the details behind that and this new training and technology that allowed those workers to put their skills to work. Rachel Guildholm and Desiree Salimovich join us now. You guys are with Barrow County 911. Thank you so much for being here. What new protocols that you guys put in place allowed these 911 dispatchers to help these 2 separate mothers deliver their babies?
So we've just recently implemented our emergency medical dispatch program, and that gives us pre-arrival instructions while the ambulance is already on the way to be able to help the patient be best prepared for when the ambulance gets there. So in these cases where we had females who were actively in labor, we were able to give them and the people who were with them pre-arrival instructions to be able to make sure that we put our best foot forward to get a healthy birth.
It's incredible. You know, at a moment when you're giving birth, the last thing you think about is not being able to get to the hospital. Some counties, you call 911 and you don't even get anybody on the line. You get like an answering machine, or we'll call you back when we can. What about Barrow County makes you guys so responsive and so cutting edge, Rachel?
So from the moment that we answer the phone, we're verifying information. We're making sure that we're sending people to the right place immediately. We're starting as soon as you say you need an ambulance, we're starting with the questions of what's your location, what's your phone number in case we get disconnected, Are you with the patient right now? And tell me what's going on. Tell me exactly what happened. And so we know exactly what's happening as quick as possible to be able to make sure that we're getting the right response to you as quickly as we can.
So much new technology is becoming available in every segment of society, and I imagine that's the case for our abilities to respond to emergencies. What about those new technologies and even things like AI, which are probably on the horizon for you guys to be able to help people in need, whether a crime is being committed or they need urgent medical attention?
So, in order to be accurate with location and any other informations, we have a program what's called Rapid SOS, which actually is so up to date that it can actually show us which direction the person is walking, or if they're walking behind the house into the roadway, or if they're driving, it'll give us the direction of, I guess, little green dots along the screen to help us get them the most accurate help we can at the best location.
How proud of you guys are you guys of what you do in Barrow County? It's kind of a shining example, especially with these two stories of the two separate births and how you guys were able to use your new training and this emergency medical dispatch system to help those two families when they were, having one of the best moments in their lives. But sometimes 911 centers get a bad rap because of, as I mentioned, their unresponsiveness or just their inability to help people or response times. What sets Barrow County apart?
We are very proud of what we do. We enjoy every minute. We put our best into anything we want to provide, because at the end of the day, I want my family to be treated the same way if they're calling into 911. So if that means I need to go above and beyond to get whatever they need to get, I will go above and beyond to help them in any way. And it's something you're very proud of, and it comes with a passion.
It's just so amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm also very proud, and I'm also very thankful that the county has made decisions to be able to put the community first and be able to make sure that they are putting every dollar that they possibly can into making sure that people are safe, that people are well taken care of, and that we do have a quick response whenever somebody is in need. So we do have the programs like Rapid SOS to find out exactly where somebody is, like in Desiree's call, to know exactly what gas station the person was pulling into, being able to see those things come up on the map. And I really appreciate in the county that I work for, in the county that I live for, that they are caring about the community and making sure that they are their number one priority.
It's for me, it's just so reassuring to hear from people like you who are on the front lines of handling emergencies, to know how personally you're invested in that, and some of the amazing new technology which provided happy, healthy births for those two couples, Rachel and Desiree up in Barrow County. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
As we approach the end of our work week, we're knocking on the door of the long weekend. There is some more cloud cover outside today. Not that spectacular sunshine we've seen pretty much all week, but it's still nice out there nonetheless. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacy with new information on our Labor Day weekend. Jonathan?
The vibe is starting to shift in the weather. However, we are still hanging out to those really mild, comfortable, unseasonable temperatures across the southeast. It's really basically a region divided. Dry as you go into the Carolinas, and Georgia is included in the bunch. Big time storms festering down there on the Panhandle and Peninsula of Florida. And then this complex of relatively benign showers and storms continues to pour over the Ozarks and now into the Mississippi River Delta, and it's been raining there all day long. These showers pouring in from Oklahoma and Kansas overnight and spending the day just to the north of Tulsa, producing more than 6 inches of rainfall, almost 5 inches there in northwestern Arkansas. Fayetteville getting hit hard as we speak, and even those high rainfall amounts stretching down to Conway, just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, where they're dealing in some cases up to 7 inches of rainfall. That's why you see those green boxes letting you know that there's an active flash flood warning in effect. Tomorrow, the risk will be across once more the Mississippi River Delta, along with the boot there of Louisiana, and then into portions of Alabama. So there's a slight risk of level 2 out of 4, if you will, and then a level 1 out of 5 risk in effect for a portion of our area. Really, southeast and southwest is our primary concern, anywhere between 75, 85 and I-20 once again to the south and to the west of the city. The models aren't really lining up with that. I don't think there's a really great flood threat, but I can tell that the atmosphere is starting to turn back a bit more moist, if you will. Moisture starting to move in from the Atlantic, and there's a little hole coming in from the Gulf, allowing some moisture to roll up from the south. And we're picked up on a bit of a southeasterly wind today, and that is ushering in more moisture. So not oppressive by any measure because of the cloud cover and the cooler temperatures. High pressure was our protector for the first half of the week. The second half of the week, not so much. It's going to loosen its grip on us as it moves out into the Atlantic, and you can already tell that the dew points going up to 71 in LaGrange, 68 Eaton. By contrast, you're still feeling pretty good there with dew points around 58 degrees in Marietta. So what does that spell? Well, the window is open for moisture to move back in, and we will feel the effects of it as early as Saturday with periods of scattered showers for the start of the Labor Day holiday weekend. The weekend will have moments and spurts of sunshine, i.e. Sunday is my pick day. I'm not ready to throw Monday out just yet, but I'm not ready to count it in because the jury is still out of it. It looks like things could be cool, cloudy, if a wedge sets up. And you know what that means, Tom. Very little sunshine, cool temperatures.
The fabled wedge.
Yeah, the old fabled wedge.
But of the 3 days, it looks like Monday's the winner.
The rain chances are going down, though. It's always hard to get a lot of rain or steady rain.
Yeah.
It's definitely not heavy rain when the wedge is there. It just creates this illusion of this going to rain.
Sunday looks pretty good,
too. It really doesn't happen. Yeah. So once again, we're going to still fine-tuning that, but I think it's already decided what the lot will be for Saturday. You'll dip and dodge a few showers and raindrops out there. But once again, nothing severe, and I don't think we'll have any risk for flash flooding.
All right, Jonathan from the Fox 5 Storm Center. Jonathan, thanks. We're speaking with those 2 Fulton County commissioners who are now in contempt for failing to adopt and appoint 2 Republican members of the election board. The 2 commission members who are blocking that appointment are now facing daily fines thanks to a judge's order. Angelique Proctor joins us now. Angelique, we're talking about fines upwards of $10,000 a day.
$10,000 a day will certainly add up. Now, I talked with the GOP chairman today. He says the judge got this right, and he believes that the judge has gotten the Democrats' attention. We wanted to find out if that was true, so I've been reaching out all day to the top Democrat on the Fulton County Commission, Rob Pitts, the chairman, to find out where he stands in all of this, because clearly Chairman Pitts holds all the cards. He is the one who can call an emergency meeting if there is going to be a second vote. So we are still waiting to hear back from Chairman Pitts. Now, the GOP chairman, Josh McCoon, says he's really pleased with this ruling, and he believes that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners will appoint these Republican members now. McCoon said it was really unfortunate that the GOP had to file suit in order to get the Democratic commissioners to follow the law. Take a listen.
I'm obviously very pleased that Judge Emerson agreed with us that the word shall means exactly that, and that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners shall appoint our nominees, Jason Frazier and Julie Adams, to the Fulton Board of Registrations and Elections. I do hope that now that he's said he's going to start imposing a $10,000 daily fine on Friday, that they'll go ahead and call a meeting and confirm these appointments.
Now, as you said, Tom, we talked with Commissioners Dana Barrett and Mo Ivory. We wanted to hear from them now that these $10,000 a day fines may very well be imposed starting tomorrow. We wanted to find out if this had changed their votes, changed their minds on these issues of appointing these Republicans. Take a listen to what at least Dana Barrett had to say.
The answer for me is no. My vote is my vote. We are appealing the contempt charge, and we have filed a supersedious, and hopefully that means that those fines will be stayed until our appeal is heard.
Now, this ruling also indicates that Fulton County will have to pay the legal fees of the GOP. So a lot of money here that might be very upsetting to Fulton County taxpayers. But again, we are looking to hear from Rob Pitts, because if he decides to vote with the Republicans, and if Commissioner Khadijah Abdul-Rahman votes with the Republicans, that will be the 4 votes needed, and these fines will not be imposed. So clearly, whatever the chairman says will likely predict the outcome of this. So we are trying to get in touch with him, and we will have the very latest for you later on this evening.
So,
reporting
Angelique,
live from downtown.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Angelique, who pays the daily fines for these 2 commissioners? I mean, does it come out of a fund, a Fulton County fund that is there in cases like this, or is the 10 grand a day going to come out of their own pockets?
Now, that $10,000 will not come out of their pockets. It will be the county that will pay these fines. And so they were very thankful, they said, that the judge did not impose these fines on them personally, but this will be out of the county coffers.
Yeah, well, let's hope they can come up with a resolution soon, because no taxpayer wants to hear that the county's paying $10,000 a day for a dispute over the appointment of a couple of people to the election board. So hope it gets sorted out. Angelique, thanks. There's been a big arrest in Coweta County for an alleged online predator. We're going to have details for you as we continue here. There's been a big arrest in Coweta County of an alleged online predator, thanks to the GBI and sheriff's deputies working together. Doug Evans is out there covering this story. We never like to hear about online predators, but we do like to hear that they have been captured, Doug.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Good afternoon, everybody. This guy was captured after an investigation involving the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, also the GBI and the Coweta County Sheriff's Office, all working in tandem on this case, as they do so many times. Let me tell you about the guy who was arrested, and we've got some video for you. He's 24-year-old Drakel Smith, and Coweta County deputies arrested him at his work in the downtown Noonan area just the other day, arrested on 2 counts of solicitation of a child for sexual purposes, and he is being held currently at the Coweta County Jail without bond. Again, this was a tip that came from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in Washington, D.C. That's then filtered down to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations here in our state, who is the lead agency in what's called ICAC, and ICAC stands for the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit. Now, local authorities are involved in that as well, Coweta County among them, so it's then passed to an ICAC investigator at the sheriff's office here, and then they begin a cyber investigation to make sure that this IP address and the evidence that they're talking about does in fact match this individual, and after they come to that conclusion, they take warrants out for his arrest, Tom.
Doug, great they got the alleged suspect off the streets and off the computer, if you will, and really great to see these 2 agencies working together in conjunction with the folks in Washington to find these people, apprehend them, and stop this kind of online trafficking.
Yeah, Tom, it is a coordinated effort. Coweta County takes it very, very seriously, so seriously, in fact, that they have dedicated investigators who do nothing else. Many of the police departments and sheriff's departments in our state, while certainly dedicated to this kind of investigation, just simply don't have the manpower to do that on a full-time basis, and so they tend to send these investigations off to other types of investigators within their department. And so here in Coweta County, they take it very, very seriously. They've said to me a number of times, and they work it very, very hard.
Well, good to see and reassuring to keep our communities and especially our children safe. Doug Evans. Doug, thanks. We want to talk to you about renovations, which have been underway for a little while in Little Five Points, the Little Five Points Finley Plaza area, which is undergoing some renovations, a project that has been years in the making. And now that it's finally underway, some businesses in that area aren't too happy with the way it's happening, because they're saying it's choking off customers from being able to walk up and down that area and frequent their businesses. Eli Jordan out there in Little Five Points. Eli, so how can they fix this problem?
Tom, they're just going to have to get this project done. It's an $800,000 project, nearly a decade in the making, and normally the streets are like this, but if you turn, heading up towards Moreland, you have this all over, and this is Finley Plaza. It has not had a facelift in 42 years. Finley Plaza, named after Mr. Finley, who owned a hardware store just around the corner, but it's now getting a facelift. It's going to be modern. It's going to be opened up. A little, fewer nooks and crannies for undesirable things to happen around here, and things like that. Do go on in a Little Five. But as far as the businesses, yeah, they're feeling a good bit of the inconvenience. And I have with me here today is the chef owner of the Porter, E.J. Hodgkinson. Hello, E.J. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. So tell me, how do you guys dealing with this? Are you guys feeling it?
We're feeling it a little bit here, I think, as all the other businesses are. One of the ways we deal with it is just reminding our guests through social media and whatever else that we are, in fact, still open, and, have little fun posts with it and things like that, encouraging people to come down.
And, after the pandemic, you guys were closed down a little bit longer than other restaurants, and then when you guys opened back up, you guys had nice seating out here, bolted down to where, theft couldn't happen, and you had I guess you guys prided yourself on this outdoor seating, and you guys just had to rip it right back up, right?
Yeah, we had to move it temporarily, but we're going to be able to put it back out when the park reopens, and possibly even some more seating out here. So at the end of it, when it's reopened, we'll actually gain a little bit of seating out of the deal.
I know it's a pain and inconvenient, but how are you guys feeling about what's potentially going to be here?
Well, I think any improvement to the original park structure and kind of layout is going to be a benefit for everybody here. It's going to be much more open. Lines of sight will be much clearer. On top of that, people will be able to organize. There's lots of things that get organized in Finley Plaza. It's a big community center. Some people might remember as far back as in the 90s or early 90s, they did a renovation here that took away the road that used to go right down through here. And so now having just a better public space for people to congregate, hang out, check out the Porter and some of the other businesses here, I think is going to be better for everybody.
Hey, Eli, I have a question.
What would you tell people? Yes.
I have a question for this business owner.
Go for it.
Because it's a really critical issue
Yeah,
here.
go for it, Tom.
On the one hand, you have that great improvement happening in front of you, but on the other hand, these businesses are likely to suffer through the process. So did the city or the planning council offer businesses like this any sort of subsidies or advertising budgets to help continue to bring in business while all this is going on?
Well, actually, Tom, when I did speak to Lauren Welsh, who is the executive director of the Little 5 Points Alliance, this is not a city project. This is a project amongst the business owners and the alliance and the people, property owners here.
Okay.
And but have you gotten any indication, EJ, of the city allowing any allowances or funds to help make up for business loss?
Not directly, no, nothing like set in stone. And for us, I think it goes back to when this was originally concepted. This was concepted over 10 years ago, and it's been a real labor of love. Like a lot of people that don't get paid to do anything, really anything involved, spent their time and did the work to actually get this through. And so, as far as the city wanting to jump in and help out the businesses, we haven't heard anything. We'd be open to it, of course, but haven't heard anything so far.
What would you say to people that might be, put off by this, or just, think it, oh, I don't want to hang out there because it's, just too tight? Or what would you say to people that love to come down here but get shot away?
I think as with any other area in the city that's, undergoing any type of renovation, you're going to see, some big fences up, construction work happening. Remember that there are small businesses around there that do rely on continued support. And so I'd encourage people to come down, brave the fences. It's not just the construction here that has a perhaps profound effect on small businesses. It's just seeing it from the street. And so the other businesses that the fence isn't even in front of may also be feeling it as well. So I strongly encourage people to still come down to Little 5 Points, come check out what's going on down here. Maybe stop by the
Support
Porter.
Local business, help keep the place weird.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Well, EJ, thank you very much. So, Tom, it's this has been in the process for nearly a decade, and they're trying to get it done. But one timeline I can give you is the Halloween parade, October 19th, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, October 19th. It's a big one. It's a huge parade. Draws in about 50,000 people. This will be pretty much wrapped up. The landscaping will not be finished, but that's probably good because you don't want people climbing all over the landscaping as they crane their necks to try and look at the parade. But then mid-November is when they plan to have all the landscaping done and this to be completely open, and businesses can breathe a breath of fresh air when they have the open Finley Plaza, its first facelift since it was originally created in 1983
I love
when Euclid used to go right through here.
I love what E.J. Hodgkinson had to say to you, Eli, that it's a labor of love and among these community and business owners. And if you could just, we talked about any kind of subsidies or anything like that. The subsidy will come in the form of patrons coming out and supporting these businesses with a little bit of inconvenience in the name of improving the Little 5 Points area. Eli Jordan, Eli, thanks. Earlier this week, we told you about an effort by the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Certainly, you've seen them advertised on TV, raising money for our veterans. We brought you to a facility that houses homeless veterans. What a noble effort that is, an impressive facility. Well, now they're putting their money to work for an organization that is being dedicated today as sort of a life-changing gift in the form of a home for a veteran and his family. How about that? Chris Rosenthal standing in front of it. Chris, boy, the hits keep coming from the Tunnels to Towers Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier this week, they had that facility there for about 88
homeless vets. Now this is a different project. This is a house for a veteran, Samuel Wally. He served in Afghanistan in 2012, was hit by an IED and lost a leg and an arm. And this home was built, and essentially he gets it. Doesn't have to pay any sort of a mortgage on it. Has to pay utilities, things like that. He did have to apply for this. They have about 200 or so homes like this across the country, but we're here in Pendergrass today. He got a first look at that house today. I don't know if we have the video we can show, but he got a first look at that house today for him and his family, for his wife Hannah and his 2 kids. I got a look at it myself earlier, and you know, they really take into account a lot of handicap accessible features as well. Walk-in showers, you know, tables, and even a stove that raises and lowers, which was pretty cool. You know, he made a speech today, and he was talking about how he felt at first he didn't maybe deserve these sort of things, these sort of help. But I talked with him about that, and I think we have the sound.
We do have the sound, but we don't have time. But it's just so incredible seeing some of your video, Chris, of that veteran in his new home, and the accessibility he'll have thanks to the new smart home features, so to speak. And you know, we thank him obviously for his service, and are so thrilled and proud to see him and his family having access to that new house.
Yeah, they were renting a house in Beaufort. He said one of the things that's really great about this is just not having the burden of the mortgage. He also said one of the things he's really looking forward to with this house is the ice maker. So you know, he's looking forward to moving in and getting his new chapter started here.
Well, no one deserves it more than he does. You know, he has our thanks and our gratitude, and certainly our support. Tunnels to Towers Foundation does so much incredible work for our veterans, and it's so nice to see the house there that they built for Sergeant Samuel Wally and his family. What a beautiful home, too, and a beautiful yard. Looks spectacular. Chris Rosenthal. Chris, thanks. That's going to do it for us here in the 3 p.m. hour on Fox Local. There is tons of breaking news still to get to, however, coming up next, and all new at 4. The news never stops, and neither do we. Stay with us.
Fox 5 News at 4 starts right now.
Happening right now, a massive protest outside the CDC as workers voice their frustrations over the firing of CDC Director Dr. Susan Menarez. Thanks so much for joining us today for Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Christine Spiro. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live outside CDC headquarters now, where that protest began about an hour ago. Tyler.
Yeah, Christine, good afternoon to you. It is now over. Most of the protesters have left. It was hundreds of people out here, of current and former CDC staffers, along with public health advocates. And this was what was being described as a clap out. Let's go to video. I want to show you. It was just a huge amount of people were outside of the CDC headquarters this afternoon to pay tribute to the 3 high-ranking officials who ended up being removed, or who resigned rather, from their positions yesterday following the firing of CDC Director Susan Menarez. She was in place for less than a month. She was approved by the Senate on July 31st and then ultimately lost her job yesterday when the Health and Human Services Secretary and the President decided that she was no longer fit to serve here at the CDC. So those 3 high-ranking CDC officials ultimately decided to remove themselves and resign. They sent their resignation letters yesterday. Today, DA. They were escorted out of the CDC, and that's what this was all about today, was to basically clap out for them. So there was a huge amount of people just going down the street here just outside of the CDC headquarters. Let's take a listen to what one of them had to say. I spoke to him one-on-one just about 30 minutes ago.
I think that it would be hard to continue without feeling that as a physician I have compromised my Hippocratic oath. I said first do no harm, and I feel like CDC is being weaponized, and I can't be a party to weaponizing something to hurt